So very recently, Michal Pachter actually put up another. There was another article about Michal Pachter talking about that Microsoft will unbundle the Kinect from the Xbox One in 2015, but Sony is still in a position to stay ahead. And I will say this, coming from how he actually was kind of presenting his ideals in this one, I do kind of have to agree with a few points of his. Kind of saying as he went into the whole thing of Titanfall and saying how that Microsoft could honestly lower their price, but then Sony could do the exact same thing. Well, now I'm gonna put it into a perspective for everybody. Pretty much he starts off talking about the Kinect and saying that it is a irrelevant, counterintuitive, clunky machine in which that honestly really doesn't do all that much for the gaming industry. And honestly, it could have. I mean, there was honest potential behind the Kinect. However, as it stands, I mean, just like how I know that a lot of people, they don't necessarily kind of believe this, but honestly, there could have been something with the Wii, or at least with the Wii controller. If they had done it just a little bit better, they could have did honestly a lot with it. The same thing with the Kinect. And as it's turning out now, it's like that the potential to make the Kinect decent has gone away so far. Is so far gone, in which that honestly it's not even a reason to really even bring it up in conversation anymore, because honestly everybody basically can honestly see the basic the basic cheapness of the Kinect, especially since that most games which are made for it, they really aren't really all that well put together. It's almost like that they just make them just so that you could kind of just use the system. And honestly, it is a thing. It is honestly, or at least or at the very least, you did see potential in that in the game Steel Battalion. They fucked it up, super hard, because it's a very unplayable mess. However, there was honest potential there if they had honestly went back and fixed it and actually tried, man, to make it work before actually shipping it. So there's that. He also goes in to say that Microsoft kind of tried, man, to focus a little bit too much on trying, man, to sell it for to household people, such as using Skype and using all these types of communication apps, in which that people have Skype and all these other apps upon their cell phones and Kinect. And honestly, I do have to agree with that, because you trying to sell me on Skype when mostly I have it on my phone or have it on my tablet or Kindle Fire or whatever. And honestly, it's a thing of what's the point, man? I mean, having it for that. If I could just call somebody, then what's the point? He also goes into saying that they could just end up lowering the price and then releasing a very cheap knockoff version of the, or at least a dumbed down version, in which that could honestly end up hurting them more, because a lot of people would just go out and just buy the bigger version anyway. If that's the case, if they just lowered the price. And honestly, if they did lower their price, Sony could just go back and lower theirs as well. Even though I doubt that Sony would honestly, because their product is honestly selling as well as it is, with the price that is at right now. So them lowering it wouldn't necessarily seem all that feasible or necessary. Then honestly, ending it off, they did kind of go into the thing of Titanfall, of them of Jeff Keighley pointing out that it was a good thing that Microsoft, they did honestly get Titanfall. However, Michal Pachter, he does kind of counter this by my idea by basically saying that because Titanfall is on PC and Xbox 360, they're really, you know, for a few people who still have 360s and people who do have PCs, there really isn't a reason for them, man, to go out, man, and buy the bundle, especially since that you just pick it up on those two consoles and then up on the Xbox 360 and PC and just have a blast just there. And especially since that it is on PC, a lot of people, there is a thing of them looking at that and calling that the superior version, which does kind of have a bit of truth thrown in there. So there's always that. And you know, this is one of the few cases that I do kind of like agree with Michal Pachter in terms of that, you know, they need to really get to drop the Kinect, or at the very least, if they're not going, man, to drop it, at least try and put effort into actually using it for what it was originally designed for giving people a controllerless gaming experience. However, the latter idea isn't going to happen. So most likely they will possibly have to drop it either sometime next year, or they can be stubborn as ever and then just hold on to it until the death of the Xbox One, until they move on to their next system. So that's pretty much what I got to say about that. What do you guys think about it? Please tell me down in the comment section. I'll see you on the next John Graves show. So keep watching anime, keep playing video games. I am out.